Have you ever heard of Mount Bromo? It's not just a volcano, it has a legend behind it. And this legend is still important until today. Hi, my name is Ain Sofia binti Khairul Anwar. Now, let's hear about the legend of Mount Bromo. So, where does this legend come from? Let's look at the cultural background. These legends come from Tenggris people in East Java. They are the descendants of Majapahit Kingdom, and after the kingdom fell, they moved to the mountain. For them, Mount Bromo is sacred. But why do they respect this mountain so much? It is because of animism. So animism actually means that believing nature has spirits. They believe that gods and nature live in the mountains. So that's why nature must be respected and not harmed. And the animism belief leads to a very special ritual. It is called Kasada ritual. So every year, the Tenggris people will celebrate this Kasada ritual. They will bring offerings like rice, fruits and animals, and these offerings will be thrown into the Mount Bromo, like these pictures. So these rituals remember Kasuma sacrifice. It shows faith, gratitude and respect for nature. So over time, this legend didn't stay the same. Now, let's look at the timeline of evolution of this myth, starting with the ancient period. So, long ago, the legend explains about volcanic eruptions. So, people believe that these eruptions were messages from the gods. So, next we move to the traditional period, where people keep promises and make sacrifices in order to respect gods and nature. Now we move to cultural preservation period, where the Kasada rituals strengthen community and the legend unite the Tenggris people. And the last one until today, the modern period, where it is taught in school and shared during festival and tourism. And that's all from me. Now let's look at the summary of legend of Mount Bromo.
Hi! My name is Intan Sofia Maisara binti Hamdan, and I will share the legends of Mount Bromo, a very famous folktale from East Java. Princess Ruru Anting and Joko Seger were forced to leave the Majapahit kingdom because their marriage was not accepted. Then they lived near Mount Bromo and wanted the children, but they had none for many years. But after sincere prayers, they were blessed with 25 children, but they had to sacrifice the youngest one in return. And after the child was born, named Kasuma, they hesitated to fulfill their promises. And the volcano began erupted. So Kasuma bravely sacrificed himself to save his family and the people. And today, his sacrifice is remembered through the Kasada ritual, where people offer gift to the volcano every year. Now, let's move to the pictures linked to the legend. Alright, now let's move to the pictures linked to the legend. So the first one is Tenggris people. People who still celebrate the Kasada ritual every year. And the second one is Mount Bromo, where Kasuma bravely sacrificed himself.
name is Zahar, and now I'm going to take a closer look to the moral values of the Mount Bromo. So first of all, one of the strongest moral values in the legend is keeping promises. Roro Anteng and Jogo Segar has made a sacred promise to the god of the mountain, and the god of the mountain granted it. But when it was time to fulfill it, they hesitated. So almost immediately, the mount erupted. So this shows the consequences of the breaking one's promise. So we can see here that the promises carry responsibility, and we also must honor it. So next is the sacrifice for the greater good. As we all know, Kesuma, the youngest son, chose to sacrifice himself to protect his family and also his people. So instead of him running away and stay in someplace else, he chose to walk willingly towards the mountain. His sacrifice has brought peace, fraternity, and harmony to the Tenerife people. So this moment shows that true courage can give something benefits to others. Last but not least, these legends also teach us about community harmony and tradition. Even until today, the Tenerife people still continue and giving offerings, foods, and any other items into the Mount Bromo. So this tradition is a way of the Tenerife people to stay connected and also to stay united, to remember the values that has passed down through the generations. It showed how our shared beliefs to help us to maintain respect, gratitude, and balance in between humans and in spiritual. So overall, legend of the Mount Bromo teach us, reminds us that harmony can come from responsibility, sacrifice, and also respect. But not only towards other people, but also towards the nature and also the spiritual world. That's all for the moral values. Now let's proceed to the themes of the legend.
Long ago, people believed mountains could listen and gods could answer. In Legend of Mount Bromo, nature is not just land. It is alive and it reacts to human choices. I am Abby Azima, and today I will explain three main themes of Legend Mount of Bromo. The first theme is sacrifice for the greater good. Kesuma is the youngest and most innocent character, yet he carries the heaviest responsibility. He understands that his personal happiness is small compared to the suffering of an entire community. In many Southeast Asian societies, this belief is strong. The community must survive even if individuals suffer. Kesuma's sacrifice restores balance between humans, nature, and the gods. This shows that the sacrifice is not meaningless pain. It is a conscious choice made for others. The second theme is promise and responsibility. Roro Anteng and Jogo Segar make a promise when they are in desperate. At first, they are willing, but when the promise becomes real, their faith replaces faith. Their refusal shows how love can conflict with duty. However, the legend teaches us that ignoring responsibility does not protect loved ones, hence it endangers everyone. The disaster that follows shows that promises are binding, especially when made to high powers. Words create obligations, and obligations demand action. The third theme is cultural continuity and traditions. After Kasuma's sacrifice, the story does not end here. The Tengger people continue to remember him through annual offerings, which is Kesada ritual. These rituals keep memory alive. They turn pain into gratitude. Through traditions, the community connects the past with the present. Legends like this function as cultural teachers. Next, I will explain about the three main proverbs in Legend of Mount Bromo. These things can also be clearly understood through common English proverbs. The first proverb is promises are meant to be kept. The proverb reflects the moral core of the legend. Breaking a promise brings instability, fear, and suffering. Keeping the promise restores the peace. The legend teaches that promises carry moral and spiritual responsibility.
Mountain grew angry.
The second proverb is no pain, no gain. Kasuma's sacrifice causes deep emotional pain to his parents. Yet, this pain leads to growth, peace, and prosperity. The proverb reminds us that meaningful change often requires loss.
Mom, Dad, if I stay, people will suffer.
No, Kasuma! No!
Mom, please don't cry, Mom. I'm okay. Dad, you taught me to be brave.
Kasuma!
I'm not afraid. I go with love.
The third proverb is old habits die hard. The Tengger people continued rituals shows that traditions are not really erased. Beliefs becomes habits and habits become identity. Through repetition, cultural survives. Now let's move to the next part, which is adaptation.
Hi, my name is Naatiraisi Mafada, and today I'm going to talk about the adaptation from our story, which is the Legend of the Mount Bromo. So for the first adaptation, we have the novel adaptation. Okay, so for the novel adaptation, it is called The Story of Roro Anting and Joko Segar, which has concluded to where the novel mostly include the romance and the sacrifice of Roro Anting, which is the princess, and the Joko Segar. Now let's go into our second adaptation. Now we have our second adaptation, which is a bit different from our first adaptation, which is the theatrical adaptation. So they are literally real life musical that they took from the story itself. For theatrical novel like this one, this more like has more dramatic backdrop and focus heavily on like the emotional sacrifice of the youngest child, which is the Raden Kasuma. So let's go to our third adaptation. Sure. Okay, so for the last and final adaptation, we have the digital adaptation. So digital adaptation is very easily accessed, and it is from the University of Surabaya, or known as Ubaya, which they composed this one comic titled The Gunung Bromo from Joko Segar and Roro Anteng. This mostly specific on the younger child and also the sacrifice. For this digital adaptation, usually it's to engage younger generation who are more towards modern visual style and doesn't really like history that much. So let's go to our final part, which is the conclusion. Okay, now it's the conclusion of our presentation, or more like a blog presentation. So first we have keeping promise is very important.
Because even if it's like very difficult, that's when true love sometimes requires sacrifice. Next is Kasuma's courage reminds us that personal loss can lead to peace and harmony for many people or for others. Third is the practice of kasada ritual, which is the sacrifices from the younger child. This is to prove that community identity and keep tradition very alive. And fourthly is to encourage people to live responsibility and respect towards the nature so that the harmony can come from faith, attitude and also share value. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Ain Faika binti Azhar and I am the narrator of the story.
Hi, I'm Abi Azima and I'm as Roro Anteng.
Hi, I'm Ain Sofia and I'm as Joko Seger.
Hi, my name is Noat Rarisi and I am Dewa Bromo.
Hi, my name is Intan Sofia Maisara and I'm as Kasuma.
So, this is the legend of the Bromo mountain. They left the kingdom to live peacefully among the Tangle Mountains. Long ago, during the Majapahit era, lived Roro Anteng and Joko Seger.
These mountains are beautiful, Joko, yet my heart feels empty.
Yes, because we have no children.
For many years, they prayed, hoping the gods would hear them.
Dear God, please bless us with children.
We promise to honor the land.
Your prayers are heard. You will have 25 children.
Thank you, Great Dewa.
But remember, the youngest child must be offered to the mountain.
Though their hearts were heavy, they still agreed. Time passed. The children were born one by one. The youngest was named Kusuma.
He's so cute. How can I give him away?
I know, right? This is our son.
Mountain grew angry.
Please, I cannot do this. I love Kusuma.
Mom, Dad, if I stay, people will suffer.
No, Kusuma. No.
Mom, please don't cry, Mom. I'm okay. Dad, you taught me to be brave.
Kusuma.
I'm not afraid. I go with love.
With courage beyond the years, Kusuma walked toward Mount Bromo.
Remember me with gratitude.
Your sacrifice is accepted. The land will be protected.
From that day on, the Tangris people keep offerings to the Mount Bromo. So, the legends tells us how to keep promises, and we learn about sacrificing for others and respect the nature. That is all from us.
Thank you for watching. Bye.